is underway as threats of litigation mount. ANC Deputy President David Mabuza opened the conference once again, calling for unity, saying that internal factions have never posed such a threat to the life and legacy of the movement. Newzroom Afrika's Pelane Phakgadi is at the Rustenburg Civic Centre and joins me now live. Pelane, very good evening to you. The opening remarks of Deputy President David Mabuza were well received as he spoke to the kind of atmosphere that he finds in Rustenburg, speaking to one that is positive. Talk to us about some of the highlights that came out of the Deputy President's speech.
Definitely. I mean, the Deputy President was just talking about how the reception here has been warm, and the fact that delegates here have been quite disciplined within the Rustenburg Civic Centre themselves, and singing and chanting, despite the delays outside of the conference venue that has, of course, as with the registration process, and as well as those particular papers and letters that were being sent to the NEC to try and stop this particular conference. And the Deputy President, of course, came out to talk about unity that has been talking, that the ANC has been talking about for the past decade or so in particular, and for the last year or so, saying that there must be unity and renewal, at least towards the 55th National Conference of the African National Congress in December, and that has to start at the grassroots level, and it will be in a position, of course, to be reinstate itself as a leader of society. Let me bring in, of course, a convener in the office of the Secretary General, that is Gwen Ramohopa. You've seen inside, the Deputy President, of course, quite happy with what you've seen, but there are those elements outside threatening litigation. We understand that there are papers that some disgruntled members are looking to file so that they take it to the High Court to try and halt this. What is the response from the SGO's office?
By far, the majority of delegates that come from branches are looking forward to a very positive conference. The mood is very positive, and the Deputy President has just officially opened the conference, and it's all systems go. So yes, we will need to revise the program, which will soon be adopted today. However, as indicated, this province really wants stability, really wants to get out of the interim leadership structures that they've had. They want to have a legitimate constitutional leadership that they as branches have elected, and also to get down with the work of serving South Africans. The ANC's historic mission, it was established to do exactly that, to be a liberation movement and to serve South Africa, to build South Africa, and to ensure that we transform and have a shared prosperity.
Doc, does these litigations and letters that are sent to the NEC and the IPC, don't they threaten that particular unity and renewal that the African National Congress is so much yearning for, and it's so much talking about right now, because you've seen just one position here in the province contested by 5 different individuals. One might say it's democracy, but one might also say individuals are failing to find one another in discussions and who must lead the party.
Well, yes, I did notice that almost every position has got a number of contestants, but the true contestants will emerge when we look at the threshold. How many branches are supporting how many, who in particular, and also there will be nominations from the floor, and the threshold of 25% will also apply. And that is the vibrancy of the African National Congress. As we say, we have more leaders than the opposition. So the skill of lobbying, for the best available leader is a skill that would show maturity. It's a skill that would show that whoever gets elected, they will know that I have been elected amongst others who are equally capable. There will be mutual respect, there will be cooperation, and unity in action. Unity is a verb, it's a doing word.
As we conclude, Doc, will the NEC itself, should there be threats of litigation, or at least be litigation that we do now understand that could very well be on your way to the desks of the NEC for you to appear before court?
We are very much at ease with the existence of the courts, because that is part of our democratic institutions. We prefer that our members exhaust all the processes within the organization before they go to court. But if they've gone to court, we will indeed defend ourselves where we have to, and also intend to reconcile with those members. And it's always best for an organization to deal with its issues within its own constitution. But it's part of our life. It's their democratic right. We can't take that away. But it's not like many of our delegates. Most are here. Most used the internal processes of disputes and appeals, and they've accepted the outcomes.
Dr. Ramokgopa, of course, thank you very much. That's Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa, of course, the convener in the office of the Secretary General of the African National Congress, and as well, of course, just talking about how they are saying they're ready to defend themselves should there be a need at the court of law. We do understand that there is those threats and of litigations that may very well be on the way to the desks of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress here, and just perhaps tonight we might even be seeing that court appearances where they are able to ventilate their issues. Yesterday already, you've seen that the IPC was told that it will not be having voting powers here, and it was through a court of law. I'm sure those who applied for that particular application, they then came out to grow some steam and even thought about other possibilities of going back to court so that they can be able to nullify some of the processes they feel that they are very much aggrieved of. But the Deputy President of the African National Congress gave a keynote address here, and he has left. But before he left, he was talking about the unity of the ANC, which is very much sacrosanct to what he believes the ANC should be able to do. Take a listen to what DD had to say.
The conference is taking place at a time when our movement, in its totality, is facing challenges to maintaining unity of purpose, ideological coherence, as we try on a daily basis to prosecute our struggle. It is a known fact that we are facing challenges. We meet at a time when the people that we profess to lead, the people out there that we are serving, they are now starting to question themselves, and they doubt our ability to provide leadership to the complex societal challenges of the moment.
Right, some of those remarks coming out of the keynote opening address by Deputy President DD Mabuza Pelane. Let's perhaps give us some insight on what's expected to happen for the rest of this evening.
Well, it is a closed session now that is continuing inside the plenary, and there are two things that need now to be focused on so that they can be able to be a conclusion as to what will happen following that. The first issue will be the adoption of credentials. They will be presented to plenary. If there are any discrepancies, if there are any questions, they will be then asked here within plenary about the number of registered people who are registered, the guests who are here. We do understand just under 800 voting delegates are here, and about 1,200 delegates are here, including guests and other allies. And there will then as well be the presentation and the adoption of the program as well if it gets there. But all of that will be dependent on that very particular litigation we're talking about that might just come tonight, where the disgruntled members want to halt the proceedings from continuing.
Very well, we'll leave it there for now as we continue to bring you the latest coming out of that conference throughout the course of this evening. Let's now